had a kid out of wedlock. So as deacon and deaconess children, we were
Yeah.
raised with certain expectations. I ain't even gonna lie. We were like the Huxtables, just like the Christian church world or whatever. There you go. So there were certain expectations,
Mhm.
you can't do the doo doo before marriage. You're supposed to be saved and sanctified and save yourself to marry and blah, 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 blah. Well, anyway, the girl got down with the get down, obviously. Had a kid out of wedlock. Yeah, my sister's going to get me, and my parents probably going to get me too when they see this. But it's okay. I love them because they know I speak my truth. It is what it is.
Hi, welcome to this edition of Real Talk with TAS and OnJerya. I am your host, Dr. Teresa A. Smith, and OnJerya is my beautiful sister. We are two sisters with two perspectives on life, love, and everything in between. And we are so happy to have you with us. Let me see if I can get Miss OnJerya in here. Well, OnJerya, I was hoping the technology was going to be kind.
Ooh,
It is
come through,
kind
Mercy
to us.
Retrograde.
It is kind to us.
I can see you, baby.
You can see me?
I can see you. I
Hi.
see you have my shirt on.
I have your shirt on. I got your shirt on. It is so good to see you. So thank you for letting me know that you can see me tonight. Because I never know that you can't see me until you kind of tell me, oh, I didn't see you. Oh,
Yes, girl. So that means that you're going to be able to see all my beautiful facial expressions that I'm going to be making because, as we know, I do make them.
you do make them.
I do. I
That you
can't help
do.
it.
Well, that's okay. You gotta make them sometime.
You do. You do. You do. So
So
what's
what's going
new?
on? I'm
What's tea?
sorry, girl. I thought you had it. I don't have it. I'm just working on my little phone holder. Just don't want to stay in place.
I
But
see you
anyway,
moving all over the place.
I am, and it's like I can't get it to stay. Now that means I'm gonna keep working. Well, maybe it said click.
I see. It's okay.
I don't know. But now I gotta at least be in the shot though, because that won't work. Other things, so I gotta keep working on it. So maybe it will stay. Please stay. So I don't know the tea. I'm kind of feeling some kind of way. Why you keep turning your head back and forth? And then my phone fell down. Why you keep turning your head back and forth like that? What's going on with you in
Because
your
I told
head?
you I was working on this part. I told you I was working on the part over here,
Mm-hmm.
and you're working on the
I'm working on
phone.
my phone. I'm working on my phone. And it's just like it don't want to stay in place. And if I'm gonna have to sit up like this, I don't have a pillow. I'm gonna need a pillow like Granddaddy James because I'm short, and I really need to be. And if it stays like this, I don't want to do you like Mama did me. Um, can you
But
get? Can you Can you get the Bible? Can you get the onion? One of them real talk Taz and Miss Gloria. Yeah, because I was I here recording her. No, I think I was here recording her, and she got up, and then maybe I was there, and she had me to get up. And it's like, okay, Mom, you know that it's gonna record all of that when you do these abrupt changes because it's not like we can say stop or what I can't think of the word now and then action. It's like,
right,
Mama, it's gonna record all that. And and my point is, it seems like my phone is gonna stay there, but unfortunately,
not
I need a
unfortunately.
yes, unfortunately, I need a pillow
Oh,
because you only see it basically from here up.
right. I mean, do you want me to see more? Like, are you wanting me to see your full figure? I mean, I'm trying to understand.
Well, it ain't gonna matter because if the phone's gonna stay like that, it means I'm gonna have to sit at the. Can you see? I sat back. It means I'm gonna have to sit at the edge of the chair to be seen
I'm
because
sorry,
I'm that low.
but I
I'm
see you
looking.
though.
Yeah, I'm like, what's over here? Is there anything in there
Nothing.
we can put out? You are so crazy. So it's nothing on. This is
Nothing over
live.
there.
This is live. Well, there is something. I thought it was. There is something.
What do you have?
I'm not gonna tell you. I got a
Okay.
pillow. Now, the thing is, can I get on this pillow? Now, this is going to be so funny, guys. I'm going to sit on this pillow. This pillow may make me too tall. Now I'm on that Give Me Life. What was the character's name? Because I said too tall. You know the character in Give Me Life with
What
Martin
is it?
Lawrence. Martin
Oh, you talking about
Lawrence.
Life, the movie Life.
Life, yes, with
Girl, you
Martin
like Give Me
Lawrence.
Life. I said, I don't know what that is.
And the character name was Too what now?
I don't know. Too short? Too No, that's the rapper.
The
Okay.
one that I think was going with the warden's daughter. I think he was that one.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of it right now. Girl, look at this. I got to get this wig under control because it's just
Yeah, you don't have to. You see how I got tall all of a sudden?
you did,
Now
girl.
you can see me in the shot.
You grew some inches.
I did. And let me tell you, maybe this is for, everything happens for a reason. I will say, by me sitting on this pillow, I am having to sit upright. My legs and everything, I think, are at like a high T 9363. Thank you for joining us. I feel like my legs are at a 90-degree angle now. And you feel like I said, you couldn't see me before. You're like, well, Mike, you can only see here. Well, do you want to see more? Well, can you at least, can we see this much of me? Because I'm looking like Miss Gloria. And I know why you were doing that. You wanted to be able to come back and say, look, Mama, Teresa like you. You can't even see her on the camera.
Now, why would I do such a thing?
I don't know. Why would you do such a thing?
I wouldn't. Hey, Red. Hey, Sister Wife. Let me.
Is that who T is?
No, Red is red. Red is
Oh, I don't
bad.
see it. Oh, hi. Oh, hi, Chef Wayne. I didn't realize I had people there. I couldn't see. Hi, Sabrina. Uh, Hi. Oh, it's a whole lot of people. Good evening, Red, because I couldn't see. So therefore, I didn't even know there were people down there that I needed to be greeting because I was so low. Because my phone want to do what it wants to do, and I had to. Luckily, I had something to the left that I could reach and grab. To the left, to the
It'd
left.
be to your right, to your right. Because it'd be
No, it's to my.
to
It
my
was.
left,
It's
to my left, your right.
well, where I am. It's to my left. The other stuff is to my right. So if we were to flip you around and your back
Right.
was to me, it would be to your left. But right now, with you facing me, it's to your right. And we're just
Okay.
talking about a closet, guys. That's all we're talking about. There's a closet. There's a closet to my left. And because my phone would not act the way it needed to, and it kept falling down, it was like, when it got to a place where it would stand up, it's like, but you can't see me. So it's like, I need a pillow. So where can I get a pillow? I looked over to the right. Wait, I looked over to the right. It was like, oh, I can't get over there and get them pillows.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, let me look back to the left. There's a pillow there. Now, can I reach it? And it was unreachable. It was right there for me to grab. So now I'm sitting on this pillow. And, I'm so used to sitting with my legs crossed. So now I had to cross my legs. And Jay, tell me what's going on. I, I got to let me start here first. I know I'm going to give it to you, but I just
Tell me
want to
to
say,
start. How you gonna tell me to start and then you gonna start talking?
isn't that something?
Isn't it though? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, go on with your bad
No,
self. You're right. No,
because
no, you're right. You're
obviously
right. You're right. You're right. No, you're
it's been
right.
laying
No,
on your heart.
what, no, you go on.
No, it's been laying on your heart. Go ahead. Speak your mind. Get it off your chest, girl.
Hi,
Get it
Kosa.
out there.
No, it's nothing real. Just no. You go ahead on.
No, I want to know what you're thinking. I
All
cannot
right.
read your
Well,
mind.
let me read your mind. That's a song. I don't know, but
No,
no,
Avant said I can read your mind. I know what you're thinking. I'm telling you, I cannot read your mind.
you don't know what I'm thinking.
Exactly.
Well, first of all, I want to talk about Malcolm because I was working until like 9 o'clock last night, and I didn't know that anything had transpired because I'm always late. And when I saw where you had messaged me on Facebook, like I told you, I saw someone that I knew's post when I opened up Facebook. And it was like they were saying something about someone that passed, but they didn't mention the name. And I looked at who they were with because they were with him on June 7th of this year. And then I had seen in my store, well, the stories, I'm like, but I was so tired. And so it just didn't click. And then, but the person that she was, saying something about, well, it was Allison, Allison Williams.
Yeah.
And so I had indicated, the prayer hands. And then, but I guess I was so tired mentally. It just wasn't clicking what I was looking at, who I was looking at. And so when I saw that you had messaged me at like 1:36 yesterday, but again, when I'm working. So I had meeting after meeting. So I didn't even know that you had sent me that. And then when I clicked on it, when I looked at the picture, and then I went back to find her post, and then I looked and I'm like, oh my God, because then I knew what she was talking about. And then of course, once I finally stopped working several hours later, I saw that, my IG page was flooded with everything. And the article that you sent to me, I think it was TMZ.
Yes.
And when I listened to them last night, I think they had mentioned his daughter. And I saw on the 6:30 news with David Muir that they talked about the fact that him and his daughter were in danger, but they were able to get his daughter out, his 8-year-old daughter, they were able to get her. And she was just frightened, but they said that they worked on him for 45 minutes and they could not bring him back. And when I saw it last night, it was just a numbness. Hey, Jess, it was just a numbness, because, I grew up in the 80s. And, in Stronger, I mentioned the Huxtable, the Huxtable family in Stronger. And so, we don't have brothers. And it's like, even though I'm a couple years older than him, it's like your big brother, and it was just so. I don't know. I don't know what more to say, but to say it was just so. And I don't think, even though I've been seeing different things, I don't even know if the reality has really sunk in with me yet. I didn't know him personally. But there are people who are part of our culture that it just seems like you know them.
Right.
And it just makes it so hard when things like this happen. And then it just seemed like the way I thought I was going to post a little clip from a previous show from us, it just didn't work that way today. And so I'm like, okay, Todd, you out of time. Cause it's already 6:00. So you out of time. Because I didn't stop work until well after 5. And so when I went to get a clip, I looked at a few of them, but I really went immediately to that clip that I posted that where you're talking about, I think, well, I don't know how much of it's there, but basically we need to give people flowers. And you talked about how the older folks was like, basically, you need to enjoy your life. And, how you would give anything to go back to when you were a flag girl and twirling the middle school and when you were a flag girl and twirling the flag and everything, because that's when life was simple. We didn't have the responsibilities and it was just simple. And so it just seemed to me that it was the one to post tonight because we're all dealing with individuals that we're losing in our personal lives than individuals who are part of our culture. And then dealing with the uncertainty of the world that we live in and just all the different things that are happening. And so it was just really important to me to talk about cherishing life living every moment because you don't know. And as you know, learning to balance life, work, and the pursuit of happiness, that ain't really what it is, but life and work, and learning that it's not going to get done. In one post, I said, you can't get your whole to-do list done in a day. So you got to live life and keep it moving, which is huge for me because I can't get it all done. I got done what I could get done. There's something else I need to do that's personal, but I'm tired. So that's
Right.
not going to get done. But, one, and I'm going to let you respond, but one clip I saw this morning that I thought was interesting of Malcolm, and I've seen a lot of them. I think last night you can follow me, and those that know us, they can follow. So last night I saw one though where he was talking about how when he was a little boy, his father had him reading, like 5, 6, 7, reading and quoting poetry and something else. I don't know what I said. And it was like he wanted to go play ball like everybody else. He wanted to go outside. And he had him reading things that were of historical significance in our culture, Langston Hughes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think he said his father went to Lincoln University. And he talked about once when he had a book of poems, I think it is, about Malcolm X. And the kids were like, oh, so you think you Malcolm X or something like that. And when he said it, I had never thought about where his name came from. And he said he called his dad and was like, oh, so you set me up. Like, what you mean? So you've given me, you've had me learning all this different stuff all this time, and then you named me Malcolm. And he
Right.
was like, basically, yep, and you think about it, he did so much good and he was positive and such a good person. But then he made a statement, this may have been on Sherry's show that I saw today, that he was a couple years back, he was feeling hopeless.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't able to shake it. And so he reached out to Felicia because he was like, she usually had good advice. She lives, she understands things. And so basically he was telling her that, he was feeling hopeless. And, how do you manage that? And she was like, well, I almost said Theo. Well, Malcolm. I almost said Theo. Well, Malcolm. In this thing called life, there's going to be light and there's going to be darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I can't quote all that he said that she said, but when she said that to him, it was what he needed to hear at that time. So let me say it multiple ways. There's going to be yin and there's going to be yang. There are going to be good days. There are going to be bad days, but they balance themselves out. And so you have to cling to the knowledge that it won't be like this always. And that thing of hopelessness, though, when I heard that, because I remember years ago, I was still living in Burlington, and Carl Kenny preached a sermon, and I think it's the one that's entitled "God Has a Plan for Your Life." I think it's Romans 8:35, and he says that he says many things in this sermon,
Right.
but he says he didn't have hope. He believed that God could do all things, but he didn't believe he could do all things with him. And he goes on because Carl Kenny that man can speak. I'm sorry, he can speak. And I never forgot. And then he goes on, he works it, through and how he felt empty. And what it is to be bankrupt, because he was bankrupt in his soul. And he talks about how you don't have money, and you have eating bread sandwiches and but the theme of hopelessness. So when I heard Malcolm say that, it really caught my attention because earlier, just this month, we were talking about is it men's mental health month or is it minority mental? No, it's minority mental health month,
It's
right? July.
monotonous. Yeah.
And so when I heard that, when he talked, he said he felt hopeless. And so many people feel hopeless. but we don't feel we don't have anyone that we can be vulnerable with.
Right.
And so, that resonated with me. And so, and I was appreciative that he shared that on Sherry's show, because that will help a whole lot of people. Because here's this Black man saying, who some of us look at that he has everything, but he felt hopeless
Right.
and he sought assistance from his village, from the person in the balcony. You know what I'm saying? And so there's so many great things that I think we could say about how he has impacted our culture. But those are just the things that were weighing on me, OnJerya, because again, I just haven't had a chance to really sit and process this. I just have not had a chance to sit and process it. Um, but yeah, that's what I wanted to say.
You sure?
Yes, that's it, OnJerya.
Okay. You're positive.
And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Yes, ma'am.
Well, I feel like this is one of those scenarios of where were you when you heard it, right? Um, and I was at work. I was actually talking to mom. Um, and I was scrolling on social media because that's what I do to kind of help keep me sane while I'm at work. And I was like, oh my God. And she was like, girl, what? What? And I was like, they're saying that, Malcolm Jamal Warner passed. And she was like, girl, you know how there's all these big hopes about these celebrities passing and there's no truth to it. And I was like, no, girl, this was posted by TMZ. And TMZ, for the most part, they're kind of credible, right? Like, so I was like, no, I think this is true. So, she gets on Wikipedia, and of course, that has not been updated yet. But then you start seeing, like, the other social media outlets, like, posting about the information. So, it definitely uh, caught me off guard. Then seeing like videos of where, he was in the airport and, like it just lets you know that life is short and you never know when your number is going to be called. Like they said, he went on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Like who thinks about going on vacation and never coming back home, right? No one. And I know that there's still, a lot of things that are unfolding because it's still being investigated. And, as time goes on, we'll learn more. But the thing that popped in my brain is the conversation I was having actually prior to us getting on this call that I was having when you interrupted me.
I had to interrupt you because you wouldn't have gotten ready.
I sure wouldn't. I ain't even gonna hold you. Even though I was looking dead at the clock, being like, I got to go. Was don't get distracted.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get distracted. And the person that I was talking to, I mean, we go way back. Like what they say, way back, like 4 flats on a truck, whatever. We go way back,
Way
okay?
back. Okay.
We go way back. DMX said we gonna go back, way back.
Mm-hmm.
And the person was like, you left me. And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, you left me. And I'm like, how? What do you mean? They're like, I felt like when I needed you the most, you left me. And I'm like, well, first of all, did you communicate that? Just being
Oh,
honest.
oh, the Cadillacs. Okay.
Yes,
So,
thank you,
okay.
Red.
Thank you, Red.
Thank you, Red. Yes. I'm like, what do you mean I left? They're like, you left me. And I'm like, but did you communicate it though? And they were like, no, I didn't communicate it. So how did I know that there was a problem if the problem was never communicated?
Mm-hmm.
And, I explained to them, I'm glad that we're having this conversation because, I just want to let you know some things like, oh God, what's the content creator? I think his name is I think it's pronounced Dimitri Wiley. He's always like, I just want to get something off my chest. I was like, I just want to get something off my chest. When the last time we spoke, the last time we saw each other, I said, you came home under some rough circumstances, right? Like, it was the passing of your father. And knowing you for well over 20 years, we are a lot alike. When we are going through things, we prefer to be distracted. We don't want to deal with it. Okay, we don't want to deal with it. And he's like, I'm not like that. And I'm like, but you are though. And it's okay because I'm like that too. When life be lifing, I don't necessarily want to talk about it. I just want to be distracted because sometimes it's what they say, the idle mind is a devil's playground.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, I'm involved in things that I don't necessarily want to be involved with per se, but it helps keep the mind active and off of whatever it is that we're talking about. So as I continue to explain like how I left them, and I apologize, and I was like, please forgive me. He's like, you're sounding like your kids now. I said,
Please forgive me.
please forgive me. He's like, you're sounding like Mary J. Blige over there. I'm like, look, I'm just married, okay? No, seriously. But
Yeah.
I told him we have to do better. We have to do better with communication. We have to do better with resetting and understanding and recognizing when it's time to reset. And understanding like what are those things that we can do to help us reset? That's not throwing ourselves in another venture, another task, another project.
Mm-hmm.
Because as I explained to him, I said, I walked away from a situation. I said, I prayed that prayer. I said, that prayer because, he a good old church, wholesome PK, and we DK, deacon kids, and he a preacher kid. I said, when you pray that prayer, you
Mm-hmm.
have to be ready for whatever the outcome is of when you pray it. And I said,
Mm-hmm.
it hurt, but I needed it because I needed to detach my energy from something that was very toxic. It was no longer benefiting me. It was benefiting them, but it was draining me. And as a
Mm-hmm.
result of that, now when I engage in new relationships, I said it was a learning curve because, I was comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I enjoyed being comfortable because I already knew like clockwork what it was, what to expect. I didn't have
Yep.
to really think about it. I just moved with the motion. Okay, you say this, I say that. You do this, I do that. There's no real work being involved with it, right? Like we just existing. And I
Mm-hmm.
told him that going forward, you must stop existing. You must stop
Mm-hmm.
throwing yourself into projects. And you must allow yourself to become vulnerable so that you can begin the proper healing. So I say all that to say it is very unfortunate what has transpired with Malcolm Jamal Warner, aka Theo, and all the
Mm-hmm.
other roles wherever you enter the conversation at in meeting him. I know for me, most recently, I mean, obviously, the Cosby was where I know him from the most, but most recently, if you watch 911, the one with Angela Bassett, uh, he played a character on there where, Lord, why can't I think of his name? And they just wrote him off. Captain, where Captain had called to fire.
That's right. That
Mhm.
was him that I knew he was on there, but I just couldn't figure out what the role was. That was him where her husband had caused the fire that he lost his
Family.
family
Hmm.
members. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he did a good job.
He really did. He really
He
did.
did a good job.
He really did.
Mm-hmm.
And right, the resident.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The resident.
Yeah. So we see that he lived a good life outside looking in, right? Because again, we don't know him personally. But for him to have that moment, that vulnerable moment of basically being like, I'm not okay.
Mm-hmm.
And being okay with saying, I'm not okay. because it is hard to say, I'm not okay. Because
Mhm.
we fear that, oh, they're going to judge me. Oh, they're going to look down on me. Oh, people are going to say there's something wrong with me. And I'm here to tell you, who cares? Who cares?
Who cares?
Who cares? As I was just talking to you earlier, I'm going to change my shirt.
You
And you're
did.
like, who cares?
Did
I said,
I
you're
say
right.
that?
You
Did I
did.
say it? Oh, I
You
was
did.
pulling those potatoes at that time. I was peeling potatoes, guys, right before we came on. Because, I'm always prepping for a cooking segment. Okay, so I said that I was peeling
You
those
did.
potatoes.
You probably won't
Okay.
even listen. You were just
No,
talking.
no, but I was responding, though. I said,
You
who cares?
was,
Okay.
because
But
you was
that's true, but
allowing.
that who cares makes sense, though.
It does make sense, but I was like, no. I was like, let me change my shirt. I said, because I don't want nobody,
Oh, yeah, that's
talking
right. I
about
did
me.
remember. I did
But then
remember.
I was like, but girl, who am I? They talked about Jesus, so
Yeah, you said you're
whatever.
always in black. So
Right,
that's
because
when you
I
said
am
you're always in
always
black
in
now.
black, and I am
Mm-hmm.
because black is my color. Okay, like first of all, I'm a Scorpio, and black is one of our colors. And second, I love black. So
Mm-hmm.
no, and I said I need some color because I don't want people to think I'm depressed. Okay, because I'm not. But I just black is the go-to, and I love it. Has nothing to do with it's slimmer fitting, and ain't got nothing to do with that. I just love black. I love black, so I put on some color for you, so it'll brighten up your day as well as mine. But when you are going through something, it's okay to be vulnerable with the right person.
Right people. Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. Like you have to make sure that you know your audience, you know the people that's in your village, and you have to vet them.
Yeah.
And I mean, really vet them to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that okay, do you really have my best interest at heart? Are you here trying to see, what you can do and how you can, get like what you can get from me? And knowing that he can always go home, as Alexa said, I'm going back home. Knowing
Mm-hmm.
that he could always go home, he went back to mama.
Mm-hmm. Sure
When you
did.
think about it, he went back to
Did.
mama and she
Went back
gave
to
him
mom.
the best advice that
Mm-hmm.
anyone could receive and let him know it's okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to carry the weight all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's what it said. He got the whole world in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
But you don't have to carry the weight of the world on your shoulder all the time. It's okay to pick it up and put it down. It's okay to walk away from it. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay to reset and think about, okay, this isn't working for me. Why is this not working for me? Maybe it's not working for you because you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. Maybe you're bogged down, you're not clear. You can't hear the direction that you're supposed to be do the instructions. You can't hear it because you're focused on who, what, when, where, and why versus being present in the moment. And so as I continue to talk to that person, and I know I see it's all right here. It's all right here. Like you about to bust at the seam. As I continue to talk to that person, they said, your love language, how do they phrase it? They said your love language is time,
Mm-hmm.
but it's being present in the moment of the time. Because
Mm-hmm.
people can make time for you, but it don't really mean that they actually making time for you. You know what I'm saying? Like
Uh-huh.
I just show up, girl, you hello. Okay, well, because mama good at doing that. You'll call
Mm-hmm.
mama and be like, Mama, I need to talk to you about something. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
let you go then.
Right, okay, okay.
I'm gonna let you go, mama. Uh-huh. I'm gonna let you
Okay.
go.
I'm like, well,
Because you're
if
not
you thought
listening.
she was busy,
Why answer the phone?
why answer the phone if you're gonna answer the phone, not just say,
And they call you back.
can I call you back? I'm a little busy. Can I call you back?
But you know what? Even when mama, sometimes she'll say that. No, well, she does. She'll say, "Is everything okay? What you
Right.
want? What's going on, mama?" Instead of saying, and she doesn't, and hopefully this will be a clip, and she'll watch the whole show. That's what she will say. Is everything okay? Well, as soon as she says that, then I know she's bogged down in something, or she wants to
Right.
do something. Instead of just saying, "Hey, Teresa, I'm in the middle of blah blah blah. Can I get back with you?" Okay, mama. That's the way to do it.
It
But
is.
mama gonna do it the other way. But she's like so many people I know, they do the exact opposite of what they should do. They
Mhm.
focus on the exact opposite. Because I was meeting with lots of different people yesterday, in the last couple of weeks, and it's like I couldn't understand why someone focused on the exact opposite
Right.
of what they should be focused on. But then, I thought about them too overnight because I'm always processing. But that's the way life is. It seems like all this is almost in our mind, like the scales, the negativity weighs heavier.
Yeah.
And so we don't ever see this part of it. And with that person, they had the negativity of what their perceived negativity in their mind, and the great stuff they didn't even see it. It was right there in front of them. It
Mhm.
had been given to them, but they didn't know it had been given. And eventually, I had to ask them, "Why did you ask me that?" Well, then they start talking about the negativity, and then I'm thinking, oh, I must have done something wrong. And then I checked to see if I had missed a step. I hadn't. They hadn't seen it at all.
Right.
And in their mind, they were still focused on the negative. And I go back to what Mama said, Mama Claire now. There is light and
Mhm.
there is darkness. There is good, there is badness, the yin and the yang. You're going to have those two, as you've been talking about lately, them two people sitting on your shoulder. You're
Yes.
going to have that. But you have to be able to modulate that negative voice in your ear and then that positive voice. But yeah, I'm giving it back to you, Angie. Yeah, there's something right here that I want to say. But go ahead.
But go ahead and say it, because obviously
Well, since
yeah,
I
since
want to
it's
talk about
out
it,
there.
you said something that made me think about the clip that I posted this morning of Malcolm um, on my IG page. And I can't quote it, guys, but I wanted to share some inspiration
Right.
and some wisdom. And what he said was he spent the majority, he didn't say the majority, but he spent the majority of his life worrying about what people thought because, he's an actor. So, and I got it, I got it. When he's always on, and people don't understand what that means. You're always on. So, when he steps outside of his house, he's on. Because
Right.
if we saw him in the airport, I was going to go over and say, Mr. Warner, because you know how I am. It's like with Mr.
Mr.
Riley.
Riley.
Mr. Riley, he like, that's my daddy. But I would say, Mr. Warner, would you mind if taking a picture with me? But he's on. He's
Yeah.
on. Think about that. And you think about as he's moving around, and not just him, just people in general who are in the industry, they're moving around. They're always on duty once they step outside the house. And he
Mhm.
said that it was when he was in his 40s, and given who you were talking to and where you are right now, it was when he was in his 40s, he said he got to let that go.
Yeah.
You can't worry about that anymore. And he made that transition. And it really does sort of happen in your 40s. Because I think that's when I started to make that transition. But I can remember Sansara in Burlington saying, she see this, she'll know that I'm talking about her. She said to me, and no, it's a good thing. She said to me, no, no. She was learning to say no. This is long before Shonda Rhimes wrote the book I think it's the Year of the No, about saying no.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, these people are probably 20 years older than me. So when I would have been hearing her say that, she probably was in her 40s or getting ready to go into her 50s. But I didn't forget what she said because I'm always learning from other people. And I get it. No. But he talked about in his 40s, it was like, no.
Yeah.
Basically, he's done with that. He's going to live his life authentically. And that is the hardest thing to do because everybody wants you to be what they want you to be. Well, baby, you go be what you want to be. I'm going to be what I want to be. But you think you're going to control me. And that's the reason why I posted that, because I looked at a lot of different things this morning. But that really resonated with me because I just think it's so important to be as authentic as you can, regardless what other people want you to be. So when you're talking about the PK kid and you the DK kid, I understand. Well, but you said the PK and DK. I didn't know we were DK, but hey, I'm DK kid now.
Yeah,
I'm
because
Johnny.
we're deacon and deaconess kids, so
Well, no, but I don't think about that.
I
I
don't
didn't know it was
either.
a thing.
I don't
And if it's
either.
not a thing, you go make it a thing, huh?
Yes, because I mean, people assume because of how active we were and still is in church that
Mm-hmm.
like Daddy was a preacher, and I'm like, no, he's a
Mm-hmm.
deacon. Mama's a
Yeah,
deaconess.
yeah,
Um,
you're right.
so we the deacon kids. I mean, I don't know which
Mhm.
one's
I
worse.
thought about it that way. I never
Yeah.
thought about it that way, but that is a
Mhm.
good way to characterize us. We're the deacon and deaconess children. I never thought about it, but yeah.
Yeah. So
And that's a whole nother level. It's like the PK. That's a level of expectation.
it is. It is because I can honestly say, it was, and yeah, I'm stuttering
Oh yeah.
over it because
Oh yeah. Uh,
I'm trying to
haven't we talked about that? I have talked about that before on live.
what? Oh,
What's the thing?
about how I had a kid out of wedlock.
Uh-huh. But no, no, not that part of it, but that part of it, but that other part of it.
Which part of it?
Um,
What you talking about, Willis?
you were crying, but you were not crying because you was sad. You were crying because you were
Are you
trying
talking about
not
when I'm
to.
going to put that man out? When I want to flip
Uh-huh,
the pastor out the window because
uh-huh,
he
uh-huh,
wanted me to come before the church and ask for
uh-huh,
forgiveness.
You talked about it. If you hadn't talked about it, you just talked
Yeah, I
about it,
did.
did you?
Yeah, I talked about that, but no,
Okay.
but I did not talk about. I don't believe, and if I did, okay, we'll just run it back again. Um, one more again, just in
We're
case
gonna,
you
we gonna
didn't
run
see
it
the
back
first
again,
time.
that bean footage. You know I was drinking a smoothie. Gonna run that bean footage again. Okay, run that bean footage.
Yes. So as deacon and deaconess children, we were
Yeah,
raised with certain expectations. I ain't even gonna lie. We were what's the family? We were like the Huxtables, just like the Christian church world
churches.
or whatever. There you go. So there were certain expectations, we all know them beautiful sins, you don't have sex before I can say sex, right? Yeah, I can say sex. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
you can't do the doo doo before marriage. You're supposed to be saved and sanctified and save yourself to marry and blah 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 blah. Well, anyway, the girl got down with the get down. Obviously, I had a kid out of wedlock. Yeah, my sister's gonna get me, and my parents probably gonna get me too when they see this. But it's okay. I love them because they know I speak my truth. It is what it is. I mean, I was doing my thug thizzle.
Well, as my classmate would say, I didn't know Miss Gloria was your mama. She speak her mind now. So my point with that is, if Miss Gloria speak her mind, you should expect us to speak our mind too. So go right on, Miss
But
Gloria's daughter.
I mean, I was young. I ain't even gonna say I was dumb. I'm gonna say I was young and not informed. There you go. I was young and not informed. I love our parents, but I did not have the birds and the bees talk. Now I can't talk about you and Meredith, but I didn't have the birds and the bee talk.
You don't want to hear it. I
Okay.
could tell you how she did it. I don't know what she did for my life. I could tell you how she did it, but I won't embarrass Miss Glory because I have a show with Miss Glory. Um, but I may ask her the next time, why did you explain it to me like that? But she, mhm.
So you
Go
have to
back
tell
on.
me offline because I don't know how.
I'll tell you offline. Yeah.
Okay. Well, see, I didn't have an explanation.
No.
Girl, I didn't have one at all. Okay. That's just like when I got code red. Yeah, put it all out there. I didn't have no real conversation about what code red is, what it was. Like it
Okay.
happened. Mama wasn't there. Daddy was like, your mama talked to you? No. Okay. And then that was, it. I mean, again, I don't fault our parents. They did the best that they could, okay?
They
And
did. They did.
we turned out really good. Look at
We
God, won't
did.
he? Right?
You do it. You'll do it.
Turned out really good. But yeah, so no, I didn't have like the for real birds and bees talk. And my people, we weren't doing stuff like that. We were flirting, But we didn't know that, flirting can become a little bit more physical, reading between the lines. But anyway, so yes, I did have freshman year of college, my beautiful oldest out of wedlock. And it was like, you would have thought that I had like the scarlet letter on my chest,
Mm.
when my parents found out, because of course, me and my daddy are really close. We're still close. I don't know if we're as close as we used to be, but we still close. And he let me know that he was disappointed in me because of the fact that he felt like I couldn't come to him and tell him the situation. Fair. But I'm also like, we were real private people.
We was private.
We
Okay.
very private. I mean, it got to the point that it was over. You had one of them procedures,
I did.
and it was over like
I had a fibroid and you had a baby.
basically. And Mama was very up. Well, she gonna see this. She gonna be mad at me, but it's okay. I love her. And she was very upset, and she was like, "You." It was like over Thanksgiving break. She was like, "Don't you
Yeah.
leave that house. Don't let nobody." Again, it was
Oh,
like, you remember that?
well, I missed, she was with me in Burlington because after I
Right.
came, so I didn't get all that part of it. I was out of it. I had anesthesia brain. So I don't remember all that conversation.
Oh, wait, I got my hand smacked. Like she was very much laying into me, like how could you do this? But again, you did not provide me with the tools in my toolbox
Yes,
so
ma'am.
that I would know better. But now I know better, so I do better, and I make sure that I tell my girls so they can do better, right? Like don't be like mama. Okay, be like you. Make smart decisions. Again, not saying it wasn't a smart decision, but
Yeah, I want you to bring that up.
it was.
Yeah, like you talking faster than your mind. Your mind and your mouth ain't keeping up with each other. That's the reason I be kind of pausing sometimes, guy, because my mind be like this. Her
Yes.
mouth and her mind is not. You're not in sync. You like a video. You're not in sync. Let's sync you up instead of sexual. Let's sync you up.
Yes.
What's the
So the
song? I
thing is,
wanna set you up.
okay,
Who is
look,
that?
telling me bad. So
Oh,
I did not have the proper tools, and I'm okay with saying that. And I don't, I didn't have the proper tools in my toolbox of understanding what I should and shouldn't have been getting into. And again, that's the stigma that comes with being a PK and also a DK now, because, everybody assume that because you're a PK preacher kid, that you just bad. You just out there running around in these streets.
no.
They do. They really do. Like that's the stigma. And I mean, for a lot of them, it really do be like that. Like, they be bad, but it's okay. Like, you know, it is what it is. But like I said, I got my hand smacked and I wasn't embarrassed, but it was more so of like the disappointment, right? Like, and then you try to hide it from the world because now at this big old age of mine, I realized that my parents were embarrassed.
Okay.
But they were embarrassed, I would like to believe, because they did not provide the tools in the toolbox for me to make smart decisions. Because again, we were not exposed to things. Lord, it's gonna sound like we were just like the Amish people. We were not.
Wait a minute, Frontier. Wait a minute. Don't talk about my Amish people. Um, but what you're trying to say is it makes it seem like we were somewhere raised away from the town.
Right.
Can I channel Sarah Lucille for just a moment? You know, I like that joke, but it wasn't a joke. So
Yeah.
you weren't raised by white people. Is that what you're
No.
trying to say? You weren't raised by white people in the city limit. Okay, because Sarah Lucille, she's deceased, guys. AKA, she's, I think she was a former former Mid Atlantic Regional Director. Was a dean of girls at North Carolina A&T State University, and she used to say, when you did something good, You must have been raised by white people. And so I'm flipping it. So you weren't raised by white people in the city limits, is what you're saying. It's
No,
not that you were raised as an Amish person or similar to an Amish person, but you were raised away from the city limits. And you
we were
just didn't get that type of, and we
right.
don't live in the city
We didn't
limits.
get that type of schooling. We didn't get the street smarts. There you go. We didn't get the street smarts. We were all book smart. Okay. All book smart, no street smart. But it's okay though, because as you get older, you start being around people that you shouldn't be around, you learn real quick. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I am thankful for that, okay? Because if I didn't have the street smart, I don't know where I would be. Okay? Don't know where I would be. But
I don't want, I'm sorry.
you're good. But I would like to believe now at this age that my parents wasn't or our parents, they wasn't necessarily embarrassed.
Thank you for let people know they're my parents too.
Well, sometimes they are your parents.
No, not your parents. Is that what you're trying to
They're
say?
not mine. They're yours.
I can't with you. You're so silly. But they my parents tonight too, though, because you trying to make this about me too. Well, go right on with your big bad self. Go right on.
Yes. It's like they did the best that they could with what they had to work with. And I just feel like, they thought that because of the time, because we're talking about early 2000. So social media was nothing like social media now. Like, we had dial up AOL. Come on now. So it really was only so much you kind of would see on the internet, right? So I would like to believe that they thought, now looking back, that we failed our child because we did not provide her with the proper tools to make sound decisions. Because I was brought up kind of strict. Now I don't know about you and Meredith, but I was kind of strict, which is why I believe, I'm telling on myself, not too much though. But that's why I believe I became a little more rebellious,
Oh, I
because
believe.
don't do
I
me like
believe.
don't
I'm sorry.
because
Well, I talk in songs, so you just keep saying this stuff, and all these
not too
songs
much
keep coming.
now.
Is
Not too much.
anybody out there believe in God? I believe. That may be a totally different song. But anyway, I believe.
Yes, because of the fact it was like, going against the grain, going against what we were raised and what we were taught, if you were taught much of do anything, okay?
Well, can I interrupt and say this? This is going to be
Yeah,
that flip side that I started talking about the end of last year. We first of all, guys, for those who don't know, we had an excellent upbringing, but there's
absolutely.
just a few things that they left out, and those things that they left out
Important
can be
things.
very detrimental. What you say, Jay?
They were important things.
That was the important thing. Let me put this glass down before I drop it, and all this shake be all up, my smoothie be all over the floor, and then I'll be acting out of character. I'll become Miss Gloria. But it'll be my own fault because I will have thrown all this smoothie on my floor, and then I'll be down here half the night trying to get it up off the floor and shampoo, with my hand. Um, but I started talking about respect and the
Yes,
fact that they taught us to respect everybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your station in life is. We are to respect everybody. Because if you think about it, it's part of that Christian duty. And we
yes,
grew up going to Sunday school, we Baptist Training Union, the Baptist Training Union, the
yep.
association. I
Sunday School
mean,
Congress,
thank you,
Bible
everything.
study,
Bible study,
revivals, all that.
revival, vacation Bible school, you name it. You on all these different committees in the church, you
Yes,
name it. You had to do something. You just won't, on the committee. You usher, you singing in the choir, all this stuff.
secretary, all that.
But like when I started talking about the respect and my TAS moment, you didn't teach me about what respect really is.
Right.
Because I grew up with the adage of respect is earned, respect is given. What is it? Am I saying it right?
Respect is
You,
earned.
you give people respect.
Right.
But I'm gonna go back to that little thing I used to say to Mama. She's like, But the golden rule says, "Do unto others as you'd have them to do unto you." And I used to tell Miss Gloria, but they treated me bad, so I guess they want me to treat them bad. She said, "No, that's not what that means." So we were taught to give
Right.
respect, but people didn't give respect back.
Right.
And then because I couldn't see the difference, then I wasn't respecting myself because we were not taught what that looks like. So you're talking about it as relates to, protecting yourself, and they didn't teach you about, premarital. I don't know if we can say this, but the premarital. Yes, I didn't even know there were words we couldn't say until you told me when you said
I
a
don't
lot. I'm like,
know.
what are we
It may
talking
be
about?
it may be different platform. I don't.
But anyway, different strokes for different folks. But anyway, well, you know me, I'm so technical. Premarital sex. They didn't teach you about premarital sex
Right.
and the how you protect yourself if you're going to engage in this. But that still goes back to respecting yourself.
It does.
Because that respect thing, I mean, Rita had the RESPECT, find out what it means to me. It is so huge. For me, it meant I was taking care of everybody else's needs and my needs weren't
Right.
being met. And for you, you were taking care of your needs and it didn't matter about nobody else's needs. I give it back to you.
Because it didn't matter.
Isn't that lovely? Did you catch that?
I did.
Okay,
I
baby
did.
girl. Okay.
I did because it didn't matter. But that's what I'm saying. Like now that I'm in the moment while I was going through it, like I said, I wasn't embarrassed because I was like, it is what it is. But again, it was the fact of like like I said, it was disappointment in them and not in me so much because I would like to believe that. Now again, I have not had this conversation with my parents, nor do I intend on having this conversation with my parents because baby, it's almost 21 years later. It don't matter. But
Uh-uh.
nor do I blame them because we got to own our stuff. You
Yeah.
got to own it. I was a willing participant.
You a willing worker.
Girl, I was working too.
I'm about to stop talking to you. Because that
I
time
was
is
working,
something.
okay?
Mm.
I was a willing participant and I was working.
Okay. Day and night.
I was working hard day and night, not for the money, but I was working, okay?
Okay.
Um, and I was getting treated right.
Ooh. I can't come
Anyway,
up with a quick song like fast with that one. Right. I can't. Because as my soror told me, because she said when I was trying to pull up Key Sweat, was that last week? There you go, telling me no. So you were getting treated right. I can't pull a good song yet for that.
yeah,
Okay.
I was,
You remind me of my
yeah,
Jeep.
I was getting, can I stroke it down? I don't mind. Okay, yeah,
It's
all of
like
that.
time for a concert.
It is. We well overdue, okay? It's time for somebody.
Yep.
But yeah, so again, I don't place blame. Like, let's just be clear, okay? I own it. I don't blame my parents for the role that they play because, again, I did what I did, and I had to go through it. I was being talked through it.
I understand they were talking you through it.
Baby was talking me through it.
Bless your soul. Bless you. Bless you.
But it's okay though, because you live and you learn. And now I made sure that my kids don't make that mistake. Cause we have those conversations. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We have those conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, please tell me, baby. Okay. As the oldest one
Stop
is like,
telling you no. Okay. Oh
okay,
yeah, tell me what they doing, you mean. I'm sorry.
as the oldest
Somebody,
one is coming
is it,
down the steps.
who you looking at?
Alexis is coming down the steps.
Hey Alexis.
She just waving, hey, and Trinity's over there.
Oh, she not gonna say, hey Auntie Teresa.
No, she not. She on her iPad. But
Oh, okay.
yes, Red, we talking about in there. Yes, girl. Yes, very much so. Okay, but I own it. I didn't place blame on my parents that I chose to lay. Anyway, we gonna get off this.
Lay hands on people.
Yes, I was not praying. I was. We're not even gonna rehash that whole praying
No,
on the
okay,
news.
let me tell you something. Because I'm telling you that because some people they pray on their knees, and
Yes.
some people they pray on their back. And let me tell you guys, about 3 weeks, 3 weeks ago, when she was having that conversation, and I looked at myself on the video when I was doing some editing, because I'm saying, because she's like, OnJerya is so dramatic, They say black people dramatic. So if anybody that knows me in any capacity and they think that I'm whatever, because this is meant for a special person, and that I whatever talk too fast. Maybe I'm too animated. I was sitting here. I think I had my glasses on. I'm having this issue with my eye, and and Jay likes these dramatic pauses. She said, "Some people pray on their knees," and I'm sitting here just like I had my glasses on. I said, "Help a Lord, help us somebody." And she started doing her head just like that. And again, I didn't know what was gonna come out. She started doing her head just like that. And then she says, and some people pray on their back. And I got these
Thank you.
glasses on. And then I cut my eye over to this car that's here to my left. Yeah. I cut my eye over there real quick. And I nod my head. I'm like, but OnJerya, that's double that's double meaning. Because I have been praying on my back a lot since you
Yes,
said
Lord.
that. Because you can pray and talk to God any location.
Yes, honey.
You don't have to get on your knees. There are some people who don't have legs. There are some people who cannot get down on their knees. So that's no excuse not to talk to him if you want to have a little conversation with God. But OnJerya said, some people pray on their knees.
Yes, Lord.
You can't with her. You can't with her. And some people pray on their back.
Yes. Yes.
And really, both of those got double meanings. It probably got triple meanings. But at the time, I was only going zero in on that on your back. But it's got probably quadruple meanings, all of them. Each one of them got quadruple meaning. That OnJerya.
I
So
know.
you could present bar spies,
Only
OnJerya.
you.
Is
But
that what you learned?
it is. I learned that that's a lesson in life. I learned real
Only
quick.
you could
Okay.
present bar spies.
Oh, and I was putting them out. Amen. Won't he do it? But anyway,
You and
so
Medea. You and Medea.
yes, was putting them out. Okay,
You and Medea.
putting them out. But like I said, but I own it though. That's the
That's
takeaway is
important.
that I own it. I
That's it.
even though I was young and I said misinformed, I didn't say dumb. I was young and misinformed, not
No, you
informed.
weren't
Didn't have,
misinformed. You were informed at all, were you?
girl, I didn't have no information at all. Nobody told me.
But you weren't informed. Don't say you were misinformed. You were
I
you
was
were
okay.
uninformed.
Girl, I was uninformed. The
They're
health
gonna get
education,
you.
they are gonna get me, but it's okay. I
They
love them.
always gonna get you.
They always do. They be talking. My parents know I love them from the gut. I love them from the gut, from the heart. Okay, but even in health class, they don't even teach you real stuff. We ain't gonna talk about that. But the bottom line is that I hold me accountable for what transpired. I did not play the blame game with what I was a willing participant in, even though I didn't know the consequences. But it's okay. And as a result, the rest is history because I had that support system. Stop waving that book. I had a support. I had a
Free
support
will,
system.
choice, or will and obligation. So when you obligated, at some point you felt obligated. Is that what you're trying to say? You was obligated at one point. And so you were in it. You couldn't get out of it. Is that what you're
Girl,
saying?
couldn't get out. Couldn't get out. Couldn't
Okay.
get out.
Okay.
I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out. But it's okay though, because I own it. And I am very thankful and grateful, even though we laugh and cutting up, like for real. I am very thankful and grateful that I had a village, even though they was very hot, upset with me. You know, my daddy would probably deny this, but it happened. Trust me, it happened. He told me, what you will not do is start a family. You're going to go back to college and
Mhm.
you will finish. And I did. So, and I appreciate that. And I love my parents because they had my baby, for 5 years. And I straight up told them, like, when it's time for her to go to school, I got you. And I kept my promise. I kept my word and I made a way. So when people be trying to tell you, like, oh, you never let no one tell you what you can't do. Because let me tell you, I'm a whole testimony right here, what you can do. And no, I did not have the help of Roberto and Miss Gloria to make it happen. Because I had what? God. God did his big one. He made a
Mhm.
way out of no way, and he mapped it out, and I followed the plan on that yellow brick road because I knew
Yeah.
that I had it with me the whole time.
As the whole time.
I just had to use it.
Mhm.
And that's the problem. We have it with us the whole time, whatever we're searching for, but we just don't use it. We just don't use it. But did I go through trials and tribulations? Absolutely. Was I still out here living my best life? Absolutely. Did I learn from the situation? Yes and no. But it's okay. The thing is,
And you go telling me no. No, no, no. There you go.
but the point is, I stood on business and I owned it in the role that, I played in it. And I did what needed to be done so that, I can get my baby and be here to share my testimony. So this is a testimony for any and everybody. It don't matter what you're going through, what you're experiencing. You don't have to stay there. If you stay there, it's because you choose to stay there, whether it's your finances, whether it's relationship, friendship, folk, whatever. If you choose to stay there, maybe that's because you want to stay there. But you don't have
Mhm.
to. There's definitely a light on the other side. And I'm thankful, going back to Malcolm, like I said, that he was vulnerable. Because I had to be vulnerable.
Mhm.
I had to humble myself real quick while I was still, having a good life.
Good
Oh,
life.
welcome to the
Who's
good
that?
life.
Good
As
life.
T-Pain says, welcome to the good life.
Good
I
life.
had to,
I'm sorry. Okay.
yes,
Good
yes.
life.
I had
I'm
to humble
sorry.
myself. But I also had to be vulnerable. And that's hard. That's hard because, I don't like people in my business because I'm real private. But this stuff right here is public record. So, for those
Wait a
that
minute.
know,
You talk about this stuff right here is what now?
it's
Oh,
public
yes, public
knowledge.
knowledge. It's
So,
public knowledge.
it don't
Mhm.
matter. Like, I'm just telling you the details of the info that you didn't know. But it's okay. It was a lot rocking and rolling in the Smith household back in 2007, 207, 2007. No, 2004, 2003, 2004. There's a lot going on, but it's okay. We got through it. But the bottom line is, love you.
Love you. Sugar. Need you. I
Yes.
do.
Take care of
More
you
than you. Absolutely.
and understand that it's okay to be vulnerable sometimes. You don't have to carry the world and the weight on your shoulder all the
It's
time. And
so
find
baby.
a good village
Hmm.
of individuals that can be that support system that you need. So you don't feel like you out here in the world alone. Because baby, I was far from alone. Like going through that situation. No, it ain't going through that blessing because it was a blessing.
It was a
It was a blessing.
blessing.
It was a blessing. I ain't even gonna hold you. It was a
You were having
blessing.
my children. I mean, I scrolled down over. You don't have to be a star baby to be in my something. That's Marilyn. I know who they are,
Okay.
but anyway, I can't. Marilyn McCoo and something is her husband's name.
Okay.
But no, they were a blessing
Yes.
because you
Absolutely.
birthed my children. I said to Miss Gloria many moons ago, when she was pregnant with you, that did I tell? I think I told her she was having my child.
Yeah.
I don't know how I told her because I didn't want children. I never wanted children, so she was having my child. And then when you had them, you had my grandchildren.
Yes.
So, my nieces are very important. Don't y'all take it the wrong way. She's
Yeah.
just telling you about her life. But my nieces are very important, and they were supposed to be here. I wouldn't take anything for them. And one of them is really me. It's kind of strange, but she really is, and she has been me her whole life.
Yeah.
And she really is me. Even that reservedness, that introvert that people don't realize. But she's just the way, because you weren't living when I was a little girl, but she's exactly the way I was. That being closed off in that bedroom, she's doing
Yeah.
exactly what I did, except I had a reason to do it. I write about it in Stronger, how overcoming life's adversity will push you into your purpose. So, I was dealing with the incest. She's not, but it's still interesting because I hadn't thought about it just now, how
Yeah.
she is very much like me, staying to herself, because even when she comes here, she still stays to herself. And she's just fine with it. As somebody said, I just don't understand how you can do that, Todd. I just don't, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm just fine. So again, we chatting, I love music. I love music. Uh, and I talked, that was Mary. You do realize that was Mary, right?
Yeah.
I love music and I talk in songs and so forth. But the I didn't want people to think we were just really, bashing our parents because we're
No,
not.
we're not. I
Um,
love them. I don't know what
we
I would
love
do
them.
without Robert and Gloria because I had to come through them and make their life what it is. Because
Now
I'm
you're
the what they
taking
say.
my phrasing with it. Now I'm the one
That's
that
because I'm
says
the
that.
apple of their eye.
But I'm the one that says that though, that I had to come through them. I could not be who I am. And now she want to make that statement publicly. No, let me just correct that. I had to come through them, and I tell them that all the time. I don't know if Daddy hears me, but I tell Mama I had to come through them because
Yeah.
I knew the DNA from those two separate families in order to then become who I had to become. Was Michelle Obama's book, Becoming, in order to become who I had to become in order
Right.
to be stronger, because then I wouldn't have got grandma's wisdom that we have to, you and I have to go back and reteach mama sometime. But that be's a Miss Gloria, because you know how Miss Gloria be. I just hate it sometimes, Miss Gloria. Ain't nothing wrong with Miss Gloria, but Miss Gloria is just like everybody else.
Yeah.
Sometimes she on, sometimes she's not.
Right.
You just don't know who you gonna get.
No,
I
you
don't,
don't.
and she don't even have a twin, so I don't know who do we get? Because as you always talk about that good
We
twin
do.
and that
I mean, she
bad twin.
does. She does. She got
She
that. Be
really
Betty
does.
Lou. That be Betty Lou.
Oh yes, but that's who that means. Betty, is it Betty Lou or Betty Sue? Betty, because
No, I think it's
Granddaddy.
Betty Lou.
You think it's what now?
I think it's Betty Lou.
Betty Lou. Yeah, I think it is Betty Lou. Yeah, because Granddaddy wanted to name her Betty Lou, and her mama wanted her to be named Gloria. So I hadn't even thought about that biblical thing. I'm gonna have to tell Mom about that. That's just like the biblical with, I think it was one of Abraham. I don't know. It was someone in the lineage, and in the back of the tent or whatever, somebody speaks up and said they're gonna be called such and such. But yeah, but I'm telling you that Betty Lou do come sometime.
She does.
Mm-hmm. And she just in love. Have you ever seen? She really likes it.
Hmm.
He was so crazy. You and
Hmm.
Miss Gloria. She likes it.
She does.
And, she's like a kid that throws a rock and hides their hand. Cause
Hmm.
then she blames it. She don't say it's Betty Lou, but she be happy.
That's how it was when they were over there this weekend canning them tomatoes.
Yeah, you had said they had. Oh yeah, yeah. What had gone wrong with them in the tomatoes?
So basically, I went home.
Saturday.
Was it Saturday
Yeah,
or
Saturday.
was it Sunday? It was Saturday.
Saturday. Mm-hmm.
But now I'm
Because
like, oh, because
the tires, the
the
tires
tires.
Saturday.
Okay,
The
yeah.
tires.
I went home, and so out there in the den, it's gonna forever be the den. I don't care that you
Yeah,
call it the living room now. The den when we ain't get into that.
yeah, because
It's the
she gets
den.
me confused with stuff like that. I don't know why Mama be willing to flip stuff.
What
But
she
yeah,
call
out
out
there in the
there?
den.
What she call out there on the hall or whatever?
Well, yeah, with a harp set out there in the den.
Out there in the den, Daddy has these canning jars, and she was saying how like the night before he had brought home all these tomatoes, and she done peeled them, cut them, stewed them, da 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 da, whatever, and they sealed them. And she was talking about how I was laying in the bed sleep, and I just heard pop,
Oh, they didn't seal tight.
I was like,
Okay.
what was going on, Mama? She was like, they were sealing. No, she said they were sealing. Girl,
Oh, okay. Don't go back there.
I
Don't go
don't know
back there.
nothing about canning. I don't know nothing about that. Like, again, I don't know nothing about
I
that.
made I made my jam. That did you ever get that jam that I had made? You know, I made peach and
I
strawberry.
think so.
Oh, they ate yours. They ate
Of
y'all's.
course
Okay.
they would. Cause
I got mine. Still got some, but I have yet to. Anyway, go on.
yes. So on, was it like Saturday night? I
That
don't
would
know
have
if it
been
was.
Saturday night then.
So then like I'm calling Mama because Daddy now done came home from the garden, and he be bringing Mama stuff, and Mama be having her little moment because, and I do understand, like, it is a lot. It is a lot when Daddy comes in there with the greens and the vegetables and the this and the that, and he's wanting it to be prepared or whatever, whatever, whatever. So I'm calling her to be like, hey, like I'm home, da 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 da, whatever, and like Daddy coming through the door. Glory, you ain't got them tomatoes taken care of. And she's like, oh God, Lord, they gonna get me. She was like, they are gonna get me. Robert, I didn't feel like dealing with that. And he was like, well, come in here and help me. Come in here and help me with these tomatoes. But she had already started like the next batch or whatever. She had already said, But I guess she hadn't like poured them up or however you want to refer to it as.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm over here trying to tell her, like, okay, Mama, well, I'm gonna let you go, so you and Daddy can take care of that. And she's like, oh no, you fine, you fine. I said, see, I'm gonna go ahead on and let you go, cause see, I know that we done talked about that communication,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And how when you know what you're working with, you act accordingly. Okay. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, all right, Mama, well, I'm gonna let you go. And Daddy in the back, tell Jay you call her back, help me get this stuff. I said, Lord. I said, Mama, I am hanging up now because he's getting very upset because
Mm-hmm.
he's want to put them tomatoes in the and she's just like, I don't understand why we canning. Like,
She don't
I,
understand why she knows it's a famine. And I know she didn't say that.
she don't have room. She don't have room. She
Well,
don't have room.
I'll bring some canned stuff down here. She knows why we canning. You wait a minute, I'm sorry. She don't know why we canning, or she don't know. There's several answers there. That she
Right,
doesn't know why she's canning because she don't have any space anywhere
right.
else. Has she forgotten that? She hadn't made the connection.
She ain't made a
And if
connection.
Miss Glory, Betty Lou be playing y'all, I'm telling you, Betty Lou be playing y'all because Gloria understand there's a famine a coming. And she knows that she has to reserve her freezer space.
Right,
And if she freezes all of those vegetables, she has no room for anything else.
exactly.
Miss Gloria, y'all know Miss Gloria Taz, and you can follow Miss Gloria and Taz over on my YouTube channel, Dr. Taz, or DRTAS YouTube. You'll see where I house Real Talk with Taz and OnJerya show. Also, Miss Gloria is a hoot. Come on, no. And then gonna use you. You see, that's the thing. We'll talk about this another time.
We will.
They're gonna put you in the middle of their stuff. So then and that's the way people do. You think about your young girlfriends and stuff, or whatever. They having a problem. And you and I always say, don't tell your family when
Don't.
you be upset with your mate, your boyfriend, your whatever, your girlfriend. What? Don't do it because you're gonna get okay with them.
Mm-hmm.
But your family not. You see, your family not gonna get okay. They gonna still be mad. They gonna still feel some kind of way. But you gonna go on about your merry way. It's like, oh, it's all great. But your family don't. And here Miss Glory is trying, Miss Glory. So Miss Glory, speak her mind. She gonna put you in the middle of
Mm-hmm.
the tomato discussion.
Right,
Then you know what happens? It becomes your fault.
right.
It's gonna be your fault. Your fault that they didn't get that taken care of. Not that she didn't feel like doing it. Your fault.
Mm-hmm.
You see, like you said, be your own family.
They set you up. They be setting you up.
That's what you said. Be your own family that be setting you up.
Mhm. Yeah. But no, I quickly let her go, and I'm like, y'all handle that because he not supposed to be hollering at me.
Well, he already had got started, so it's best to nip it in the bud, as Barney Fight would say, nip it, nip it, nip it, nip it. Mama know how daddy is about those vegetables, and she also she knows that time is of
It is.
essence. I mean,
It
you
is.
don't have time to play with this. And anyway, you know how Miss Glory is. Let me
It's a
say it the right way.
conversation.
You know how Miss Glory is. If I'm
But I
hearing her
do.
in the interviews where Grandma was saying, "Glory, ma'am, Glory, ma'am, did you do that, Glory? No, ma'am. Did you do that, Glory? No, ma'am." Well, if you go to the church and if she says that you did that, you got my permission to beat her. Not on the church ground. Yes, ma'am. Now you see, Mama and Grandmama was some interesting women,
Okay.
ma'am. Yeah. So you see, now see, she had already got Grandma's permission to do that with the person that was doing all that talking. See how Mama come ease you in there and let you be
Right.
the reason that she don't get the tomatoes or whatever they were working on done. She set you up.
That she will.
You said Miss Glory don't be setting you up. But Mama is a hoot though, as I always say. She's just a hoot.
Mhm.
But yeah, that communication really is important. And as you said, Anjaya, we um we the we the DK kids.
They were the DK kids. We DK. Mm-hmm.
We the
DK.
DK kids, and there's just a different level of
Expectation and responsibility.
for responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I was just thinking? TP, reach out to me. Reach out to me, TP. I was just thinking, reach out to me, TP.
Go ahead and claim that.
Reach out to me, TP. We got something there for you. It just, we got something for you, TP. I got it for you. Let's collaborate. I'm putting it out in the universe. Let's collaborate because we got, we got, we got a story for years.
Oh,
They said
God.
for days. We got them for years, TP. And by the time we put that extra layer of creativity on it, we ain't got to put much. You're gonna be like, good God Almighty. Yes, sir, good God Almighty. The what your boy say? The dud has arisen.
Yes.
The dud has arisen. So yes, TP. Y'all get it to TP. I got an idea. I got an idea. But yeah, Anjaya, it is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That communication, authenticity, and then having to live in other people's shadows, and then having to live in your own shadow.
Yes.
As I take it back to Malcolm, having to live in your own shadow. I know that sounds sort of strange and kind of, what's that word? It's sort of out there, like I can't think what it's called, but we do though, because we
Yeah.
get it when we say, as you would say, you never felt like you had to live in my shadow.
No.
Because but why would you though? But people would say, I think you said people said, are you going to go to Carolina? Like, did you say people ask you that?
Yeah,
You're
people
going to go
ask
to
me, they're like,
Carolina
"Are
like
you
I
gonna go
did?
to Carolina like your sister?" And I'm like, "No, no, I'm going to Winston-Salem State. Ooh, the wonderful, the illustrious Winston-Salem State University, OSU, where we enter to learn
Huh?
and depart to serve." Okay, that's where I went, and I love it. I love my HBCU, and again, being told that, honey, you are too Oreo to survive at the HBCU, baby, and was there for 4 years and graduated on time with the baby. Okay. So, yeah, Yeah, no, I did. I felt like I had to live in your shadow, but I established boundaries, even though we didn't know what that was, and
Yep.
let them know that I was going to do it my way. Thank Frank Sinatra. I did it my way.
Absolutely. You did it your way.
Y'all were in Girl Scouts. I was not. I was in dance. I was in
I was
band.
not.
Y'all learned how to play the piano. Like, come on. I don't have to be you.
No.
Genuine said, I'm the same OG.
Moji.
So I don't have to be you. I'm being me.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And
So,
that's important, because we don't think of it from that perspective. We all sometimes have to, that's that yin and the yang,
it
are
is.
living in shadows. But sometimes it's different versions of who we are. And people still
Mhm.
stuck on who I used to be. Baby, he
And a
changed Saul on the road to Damascus. He became Paul. Let that old stuff pass away because it's
go.
gone. It's gone. Stop resurrecting the dead, baby. Because I know he resurrected Lazarus, but that Lazarus, let the other stuff stay dead.
Bye. Go.
Okay, he was demonstrating something when he raised Lazarus from the dead. Let the stuff stay dead, because when you're trying to live in these different versions of yourself and living in the shadow of different versions of yourself, think about how one is inauthentic, two,
Yeah.
how weighty it is. Because people see you different ways and they want you to still be that. You're not that person anymore.
Go.
And you don't owe them an explanation.
Mhm.
Because as I always say, they're not giving you no explanation. So why are you going to have to give them one? Live your life. But that's a song too. That's a song too. Live your life. You're young, so young. So hold on tight. You do what you got to do. I know it. A friend. If I can't come up with a friend of mine, he'll be able to tell me, because I think he knows the person who actually did that song. But live your life. And
Yeah.
if I can leave us with anything tonight, Angelia, I don't know if there's anything else that you want to add.
Mm-mm.
I think that sums it up. It sums it up when you talk about the parents. It's in their little, whatever, whatever. And then it sums it up when you talk about your interactions with them. And as you begin to learn and mold and become the woman that you become, you are beginning to live your life. It goes back to what Malcolm said when he was in his
Yeah.
40s. It was probably like, I'm gonna do me. Live your life. Live your life. We got one life to live,
That's it.
and we got to live it boldly, because we don't know when the hammer is going to fall. We are not super people. We're not mutants. We're not gods. We're just human beings. And when the name is called, the hammer falls, and the edge of night begins to unfold.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many children you had. It doesn't matter if you're still young and you're still restless. It doesn't matter. We each will have to respond, because we don't control anything in this world.
Mm-mm.
So I will say, since we don't control anything, and sometimes we don't control ourselves either, before you go trying to take care of somebody else, decide what you're going to do to live your life, because you only got one. And thank you guys so much for joining Real Talk with TAS and OnJerya. We're just two sisters with two perspectives about life, love, and everything in between. And hi, Dennis. Thank you for joining us. I know you'll watch the replay. I was just telling everybody, thank you for joining Real Talk with TAS and OnJerya. We're just two sisters with two perspectives on everything between of life, love, and everything in between. And we want you to take care of you. So again, before you
Absolutely.
go trying to take care of somebody else, make sure you take care of yourself first. Hello, Dennis, and thank you so much. Thank you, Red. We love
Thank you.
everybody. Bye now.